Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. Minkah Fitzpatrick's journey through the NFL has come full circle after 5 standout seasons with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The all-pro safety has found his way back to the city where it all began, Miami. His return to the Dolphins isn't just a nostalgic homecoming, it's a strategic decision by both player and team. Fitzpatrick was brought back to bring stability, leadership, and playmaking prowess to a Miami secondary that's been ravaged by injuries and inconsistencies in recent years. When the trade went down, it was met with both shock and excitement. Miami fans remember the promising young safety they drafted in the first round in 2018, and now they're getting back a seasoned veteran, a 5-time Pro Bowler who knows what it takes to lead a defense. But this reunion comes with more than just emotion. It brings expectations, urgency, and a mutual hope that this time things will last much longer than before. The Dolphins wasted little time securing Fitzpatrick's immediate future. While no additional years were added to his deal, a restructured contract gave him a sizable sign-in bonus and some long-awaited financial security. In essence, Fitzpatrick wasn't asking for more money. He just wanted clarity. He wanted to know whether he was a short-term rental or a piece of the Dolphins' long-term puzzle, and he got his answer. With the reworking of his contract, Miami freed up $11 million in cap space for 2025. A crucial move for a team that needed room to maneuver. That cap relief could translate into reinforcements elsewhere on the roster, especially in the secondary, where depth is desperately needed. But make no mistake, Fitzpatrick's presence is about more than numbers. It's about a culture shift. It's about a tone setter returning home, ready to lead by example and inspire a young core with his championship mindset and on-field intelligence. Minkah Fitzpatrick is not a man of many words, but when he speaks, it matters. And when he addressed the media about his contract situation, he did so with clarity and maturity. "I know it was reported that I wanted a new contract," he said, "but I just wanted to know that I was going to be here for more than a season, and I got that." That sentiment reveals a deeper layer to Fitzpatrick's mindset. He's not chasing a paycheck, he's chasing legacy. He wants to build something lasting in Miami. He wants to earn the respect of his teammates, the front office, and the fans. That respect doesn't come from press conferences or highlight plays alone. It comes from consistent, elite performance and an unshakable commitment to the team's success. Fitzpatrick knows that. That's why he's locked in, focused, and ready to prove that this second stint with the Dolphins will be the one that defines his career. For the Dolphins, the stakes couldn't be higher. Fitzpatrick's arrival is part of a broader win-now mentality, with Tua Tagovailoa ascending, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle terrorizing secondaries, and Vic Fangio's defensive philosophy beginning to gel. Miami sees itself as a contender. But every contender needs an anchor in the secondary. Someone who sees the field like a coach, hits like a linebacker, and covers like a corner. That's Minkah. But this isn't the same Fitzpatrick who left Miami in 2019. He's grown. He's battle-tested. He's seen playoff wars and led one of the league's most storied defenses in Pittsburgh. And now he returns not as a question mark, but as a definitive answer. The Dolphins are betting big that Fitzpatrick's return will elevate the defense, stabilize the locker room, and give them the kind of leadership you can't teach, the kind you earn through blood, sweat, and Sundays. Fitzpatrick's numbers in Pittsburgh were impressive by any metric. In 88 regular season games, he recorded 18 interceptions and 45 pass deflections, solidifying his status as one of the NFL's premier ball hawks. But the last 2 seasons haven't quite lived up to his previous standard. Just 1 interception over that span has led some to question whether his best days are behind him. Minkah, of course, hears the noise, and he embraces it. That chip on his shoulder has always been part of what makes him great. Now, with the eyes of the league upon him once again, he's determined to silence any doubts. And make no mistake, a bounce-back season isn't just a personal goal, it's a financial imperative. His current deal, averaging $18.25 million annually, ranks 4th among safeties. Another big year, and he's likely to be in line for another massive payday come spring 2026. But it's not just about interceptions or contract figures. Fitzpatrick's impact goes beyond the box score. He's a communicator, a leader, a glue guy who holds the back end of the defense together. Coaches trust him. Teammates rally around him. When he's on the field, the entire unit plays faster, more confidently, more cohesively. That's the Fitzpatrick effect. And it's one the Dolphins have sorely missed since his departure. This defense has talent, no doubt, but talent without leadership is like a car without a driver. Fitzpatrick brings the steering wheel. He brings the vision. And with Fangio dialing up complex coverages and disguise-heavy schemes, having a cerebral safety like Fitzpatrick is absolutely essential. If he can stay healthy and rediscover his ball-hawking form, the Dolphins' defense could elevate from good to elite. And that's exactly what's needed in a stacked AFC. Of course, Fitzpatrick's journey with the Dolphins wasn't always smooth sailing. His early years in Miami were marked by position changes, coaching turmoil, and philosophical clashes that ultimately led to his trade request. Some saw it as selfish, others saw it as self-preservation. But regardless of the perspective, it's clear now that time has brought growth. Both Fitzpatrick and the Dolphins are in different places than they were 6 years ago. There's a new coaching staff, a new culture, and a renewed belief in what's being built in South Beach. Fitzpatrick didn't come back out of sentiment. He came back because he sees a chance to finish what he started. And now, with a clearer role and stronger alignment between player and franchise, there's a real opportunity to write a new chapter, one that could end with a ring and a legacy cemented in aqua and orange. Fitzpatrick's long-term future in Miami remains unresolved, at least on paper, but both sides are hinting at mutual interest in making this more than a 2-year reunion. For the Dolphins, locking up Fitzpatrick beyond 2026 would provide defensive continuity and help spread out the eventual cap hit from his current deal. For Minkah, a long-term pact would mean security and a chance to become one of the rare players who finishes their career where it began. But all that depends on performance. If he returns to all-pro form, Miami will have no choice but to extend him. If not, this could be a short-lived encore. That reality isn't lost on either party, and it adds just the right amount of urgency to this season. Every snap, every pick, every moment will matter. This isn't just football. This is legacy building. And Fitzpatrick knows exactly what's on the line. As training camp unfolds, all eyes are on Fitzpatrick. Fans want to see if the instincts are still sharp, if the legs are still quick, if the fire is still burning. Early reports suggest he's already making an impact. Jumping routes, quarterbacking the secondary, and mentoring younger players. That leadership, especially in a group featuring emerging talents like Jevon Holland, is invaluable. The Dolphins don't just need Fitzpatrick to be great, they need him to elevate everyone around him. And that's something he's always taken pride in. He's not just here to cash checks or chase stats. He's here to build something, to mentor, to lead. That mindset could be the difference between another playoff disappointment and a deep postseason run. And with the AFC more competitive than ever, Miami will need every edge it can get. And Fitzpatrick might just be the sharpest one in the toolbox. Ultimately, the story of Minkah Fitzpatrick's return to Miami is still being written. But the early chapters are promising. There's a sense of alignment now between player and team, between goals and execution. Fitzpatrick has the platform, the pedigree, and the passion to make this work. And if the Dolphins are smart, they'll recognize the rare opportunity. They have to secure a cornerstone for years to come. This isn't just about one player or one season. It's about identity. It's about culture. It's about building a team that doesn't just contend, but consistently competes for titles. Fitzpatrick can be a central figure in that vision if both sides are willing to commit. So as the 2025 season approaches, the spotlight shines brightly on Minkah Fitzpatrick, not just as a safety, but as a symbol of unfinished business, of growth, and of a second chance done right. Still with us? Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? The NFL world is buzzing after something no one could have predicted came out of JALEN Ramsey's mouth. We're talking about a guy known for his confidence, his elite level play, and yes, his candidness. But this shocked even his most devoted fans. During what was supposed to be a routine post-practice conversation, Ramsey allegedly dropped a few lines that sent shockwaves through the Miami Dolphins facility. Now, It wasn't just what he said, it was how he said it. The body language, the frustration in his voice. It felt raw, real, and unusually unfiltered. And for a team that's supposed to be gearing up for a serious playoff run, it couldn't have come at a worse time. The cornerback, often praised for his leadership and locker room presence, may have just set off a firestorm within the organization, one that could change the entire tone of their upcoming season. Now, before anyone jumps to conclusions, let's clarify. Ramsey didn't call out specific teammates by name, but those close to the situation say his tone was directed, targeted even, at the Dolphins' overall mindset. According to sources who were in the room or heard the conversation, shortly after Ramsey expressed doubt about the team's hunger. He allegedly said something along the lines of, "This team wants to look good more than it wants to win." That kind of statement is explosive. It implies a culture problem, a divide between flash and grit. And coming from a veteran like Ramsey, a Super Bowl champion with the Rams, and someone who's seen what a winning culture looks like, that's not just criticism, that's a warning. It's like he's pulling the emergency brake on a train that everyone else thought was still on the right track. It begs the question, is something deeper going wrong in Miami? Fans are split, as you might expect. Some think this is just Ramsey. Being Ramsey, passionate, vocal, unwilling to settle for anything less than greatness. Others see it as a red flag, a sign that maybe, just maybe, the Dolphins' high-octane offseason and fancy highlight reels are masking deeper issues in the foundation. Let's not forget, this is a team that has talent, no doubt. Tua Tagovailoa's growth, Tyreek Hill's explosiveness, a defense stacked with potential. On paper, they look like contenders, but paper doesn't win games. Culture does. Chemistry does. And if Ramsey's frustrations are any indication, the glue that holds all that talent together might be starting to crack. Could this be a case of too many stars? Not enough sacrifice? The Dolphins better hope not, or 2025 could end just like the previous seasons, with potential unfulfilled and fingers pointed in every direction. And here's where it gets really spicy. There are whispers, yes, whispers, that Ramsey's comments weren't just spontaneous. Multiple insiders believe he's been holding these thoughts in for a while. One source close to the coaching staff hinted that Ramsey had already expressed concern privately about the team's preparation habits during minicamp. He reportedly felt that the team wasn't serious enough and that there was too much celebrating, not enough grinding. Now, if that's true, and if this recent outburst is the culmination of weeks or even months of bottled up frustration, then we're not looking at a random quote. We're looking at a breaking point. And once a respected veteran like Ramsey loses faith in the direction of the team, you know that message will echo through the locker room. Quietly, loudly, directly, indirectly. Doesn't matter. The impact is real, and it's already happening. But what about Mike McDaniel, the head coach who's been praised for his modern approach, his player-first attitude, and his creative offensive mind? Well, according to sources close to the Dolphins, front office McDaniel has already met with Ramsey privately to clear the air. That's the official version. Unofficially, the mood was reportedly tense, not hostile yet, but far from warm. Some insiders say McDaniel is feeling the heat himself. After all, when a top defensive player publicly or semi-publicly critiques the team's mindset, it reflects on leadership. McDaniel might be the brains of the operation, but if he's not commanding the locker room emotionally, especially with guys like Ramsey, then that brain might not be enough. The NFL is a league where messaging matters, vibes matter. And if the Dolphins are losing control of their locker room identity, that's a much bigger problem than a few missed tackles or botched coverages. And then there's the question, no. One wants to ask, but everyone's thinking, could JALEN Ramsey be trying to force his way out? Look, this is pure speculation, but the timing, the tone, the messaging, it lines up with patterns we've seen before. Think back to other stars. Players who started sounding off before trades. Jalen Ramsey in Jacksonville, Stefon Diggs in Minnesota, even DeAndre Hopkins in Houston. It often starts with vague critiques about culture or leadership. Then comes the "we're not on the same page" interviews. Then the cryptic social media posts, and boom, suddenly a trade request leaks, and the media frenzy begins. Now, to be clear, We haven't reached that point yet, but if things don't improve quickly, the possibility isn't as far-fetched as Dolphins fans might hope, especially if other teams are quietly watching, waiting for a crack to turn into a break. If this is indeed the beginning of a bigger story, then the Dolphins have two choices: fix it internally, fast, or prepare for an ugly public unraveling. Because once the media starts running with a narrative like this, it's hard to put the toothpaste back in the tube. Ramsey's words, whatever the exact quote was, have already ignited something, and the locker room knows it. Whether they admit it or not, every player, every coach, every executive is now walking a little more carefully, looking over their shoulder, wondering who agrees with Ramsey and who doesn't. These kinds of rifts can spread like wildfire, and unless Miami can deliver wins, not in September, but immediately, this thing could spiral. Ramsey didn't just throw a rock into the pond, he chucked a boulder, and the ripple effect is only beginning. Even from a league-wide perspective, the reaction has been intense. Players from other teams are texting each other, insiders are digging for more details, and sports radio shows are already dedicating full segments to the Ramsey versus Dolphins culture storyline. You can almost feel the excitement or dread, depending on where you stand. It's not every day that a player of Ramsey's caliber, who is expected to be a central part of Miami's resurgence, questions the very soul of the team. If this was a rookie or a journeyman, maybe it gets brushed off. But this is JALEN Ramsey, multiple-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl winner, face of the franchise level clout. His words carry weight, and whether intended or not, he's now positioned himself as both the team's conscience and its most vocal critic. That's a dangerous balance, one that could either inspire a turnaround or catalyze a collapse. And let's not forget, Ramsey isn't just respected for his game, he's feared. When he speaks, opponents listen. When he critiques, teammates listen. And when he questions the team's heart, that hits different, especially in a league where unity is everything. Remember, Ramsey is a guy who's played on teams that won. He knows what championship focus feels like. If he senses something's off in Miami, that can't be dismissed lightly. His comments, vague as they may seem, have already sparked internal meetings according to one source. The Dolphins brass is aware. The players are talking. Even the team's social media has gone suspiciously quiet. No lighthearted posts. No sideline jokes. Just silence. That's telling. Something's happening. Whether it's the start of something great or the beginning of something disastrous, only time will tell. But one thing's clear, JALEN Ramsey has lit a fuse. So, what now? Does the Dolphins locker room rally around Ramsey's message, taking it as a challenge to prove their grit? Or do fractures grow, alliances shift, and tension bubble into full-blown division? It's a pivotal moment, and Ramsey, knowingly or not, has become the epicenter. If Miami turns things around, this moment will be remembered as the wake-up call that saved their season. If not, it could be the quote that broke the team's spirit. Either way, this story is far from over. In fact, it might just be beginning. So keep your eyes on Miami. Keep your ears open for more locker room rumblings. Because if JALEN Ramsey, the anchor of this defense, the veteran voice of the locker room, is questioning the Dolphins' culture, then this team isn't just fighting opponents anymore. It's fighting itself, and that might be the toughest opponent of all. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up!